Record.
Got it.
Recording. Let's get this up and going. Looks live to me. Okay. Hey, everyone. Dax here from Hero Property. It's going to be a great day today. We've got an amazing guy on to talk all things not selling real estate. David's a property marketing strategist who's reinvented the way that homes are marketed and transacted. I've been really looking forward to having a chat to him. And through his business, Revolutionary Real Estate, he helps vendors easily pocket an extra 50K plus, more than they could through a real estate agent or through private sales. So, you know, that's a big claim. We want to delve into a lot of that. He's also written a book called Real Estate Agents Don't Sell Homes. And he challenges home sellers to go through, you know, to let go of generational conditioning and false beliefs that surround about the selling of a home. And as you know, Australia is all about land and owning your pocket in Australia. And, you know, he's out there to achieve, you know, better results for you. And so, you know, I really connected with David. I thought I'd bring him on the show and we can have a good chat to him about where he's at, where he's going, and all that sort of stuff. So, David, welcome to Hero Property Podcast.
Thank you, Dax. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, it was great to chat to you last week, and you know, it was really good to connect. And I thought, you know, since we resonated well with each other, I wanted to get you on. And you know, the investors on our show are really, you know, mainly about growing their wealth through property. And you know, one of our ethos is, you know, never sell, or if they have to sell, you know, we want to go through a couple of property cycles and things like that before they do. So 10 to 15 year sort of time frame. But let's start off with, you know, tell us something interesting about yourself that people don't know about you.
Well, look, I'm a property marketing nerd, so this takes up most of my day. It's what I love doing. I stumbled across it by accident. You know, I was the first guinea pig of this method. Like I think most of our personal discoveries in life are. And look, to be honest with you, I don't think I'm that interesting. I just love what I do. I love sharing what I know, and lifting the veil, which I think there's a very thick veil covering the eyes of most people when it comes to this aspect of property anyway. And I find it fascinating that despite property being a national sport in Australia, how little people know about the transaction of actually selling if they ever need to, for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's a really interesting topic. You know, I've stayed right away from selling properties. We like to buy them and manage them and stuff like that and grow people's wealth. And you know, it really deterred me, you know, because when I got into the industry, you know, real estate agents are clumped with used car salesmen, you know, bank managers and the like. Why do you think that, you know, real estate agents are so disliked in Australia at the moment?
Look, that's been the case for decades, literally. And if you look at Roy Morgan polling going back, you know, literally decades, real estate agents have been in the bottom 3 of the least trusted professions. And it's not because of particular individuals. There are some excellent real estate agents who are really nice, good people, but they're working in a broken industry. And when you're working in a broken industry, there are pressures on you to act and behave in a certain way, and they are not good pressures. And also and we can get into this in whatever detail you want, the commission-based or the percentage-based commission, which I think should be illegal personally. Mm-hmm. But this is also driving a lot of this behavior, I think, in the industry.
And are you saying that because, you know, based on a commission on $1 million, you know, $100,000 doesn't give them that much money in their pocket? You know, they can drop 10, 20, 30K and still make a decent amount of money, but it can lose you, you know, like you said, 50,000 plus.
Exactly. So most of us have been conditioned to believe that a commission-based incentive, a commission-based a percentage-based commission incentivizes agents to achieve the highest sale price. It's not the case, and it's been scientifically proven not to be the case by several studies. And the main reason is that, you know, at 2.5% commission, it only costs an agent, you know, $1,000 to undersell your home by $40,000. And, you know, an extra $1,000 to an agent, you know, when they're making $20,000 is not a great deal, but to you, $40,000 is a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. That's like a kitchen renovation, bathroom renovation. It adds up, you know, and it adds up to another deposit for your next investment home or next property. So
absolutely,
you know, we want to help them get further along. Where I think that, you know, real estate agents are really focused on their sale. And I know you went into that in your book a fair bit around, you know, real estate agents, you know, and in your own words, you know, what does the phrase a real estate agent is not selling your property?
Well, real estate agents, you know, they don't sell properties. And that's actually the title of my book. You know, real estate agents don't sell homes. It's the truth. They don't. They do. They are great salespeople. A good agent is a great salesperson. They sell two things. One of them is themselves to get the listing.
Because I see them on boards and I see them on advertising, and it's like, I don't want to see their face. I want to see the property.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Exactly. Yeah. So the first thing they sell is themselves to get the listing, and the second one is horrendously expensive marketing packages, often totally unnecessary in the expense that they go to.
Now, I want to stop you there. Are they marketing packages or are they advertising packages?
Well, they call it marketing packages, and look, you can slice and dice it in all different kinds of ways. I think most of them just stop at advertising, but advertising is just a very, very small piece of what the marketing is, or marketing should be. You know, marketing starts well before you even start talking to an agent or even selecting your agent. You know, it starts in how your house looks, and how you prepare it for sale. That's where marketing, you know, starts. It starts with you identifying who the potential buyer for this home could be, or potential buyers, you know, groups of buyers. I think that's where marketing starts. Okay.
And from that point of view, where you've got, I know you talked a little bit about in your book around, you know, the difference between an open house and a private inspection. I really wanted to delve into that because, you know, open houses seem to be, you know, the thing, you know, and I find that, you know, some opening your house up and having multiple couples going through. I know one of our renovations down in Parkdale, we did this eco solar, passive solar house. And it was really interesting to set up a little webcam. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but a little webcam in the top corner. And my wife and I sat at a coffee shop and watched all the people go through. And it was a bit, I don't know, the volume of people coming through was confronting. But, you know, we got a fair bit of feedback just listening to them. So
yes,
tell me why you like private inspections compared to opens.
Yeah, look, a private inspection, for that to happen, a person needs to pick up the phone and ask for that inspection. A person who picks up the phone, who goes to the trouble and effort of picking up the phone in this day and age where people want to be hiding behind their digital bushes for as long as they can, is a person who is a better prospect. They qualify themselves as a more interested prospect for reaching out to ask for that inspection. It is a higher caliber prospect, and preferably that's the kind of person you want inside the home. The people who happen to stumble into an open home because they saw the flags and flyers and the circus outside are the people who are, you know, live across the road, down the street, you know, happen to be driving by. They have absolutely no intention of buying that property. They're just there for a sticky beak and a tire kick.
Wouldn't they also be, I mean, I know, you know, some of them would be interested in finding out what it's worth, And talking to the real estate agent about, well, if this gets a good price, maybe you could sell mine too.
And that's the point of agents holding open homes that way. They are taught that this is the best way to generate their next prospect, because it leads to conversations such as, do you need to sell to buy? Or are you looking at potentially selling? Or when someone asks, oh, what do you think this will sell for? That's a catalyst for the conversation for the agent to suss out whether this person could be a prospective seller.
So David, let me just reverse back there. So you're telling me open houses are more for lead generation for the real estate agent to get another listing than with the locals
yes
around the area than
yes
selling you a property.
Yes, agents will tell you, they will not tell you this, they will tell you that it's to generate competition. Okay, all agents tell you that. But there's competition and there's competition. The competition created by tie kickers and sticky beaks is not really competition. And people who have no intention of buying that property need to justify to themselves why they are there. Okay, and when they are there in pairs, husband and wife, they're going to be pointing out all the reasons why they'll never buy the property, and they're going to be picking out all the flaws that your ideal buyer, who may be in that room, would never have even picked up because they just fell in love with the look and feel of the property. But all of a sudden now they're overhearing, this chatter from someone who was never going to buy the place anyway.
That's me. I do that. Well, actually, when I go look to buy at something, I'll go around and I'm quite vocal at, oh, look at that. Oh, the foundations don't look really well. One roof, that looks like a leak in that roof, and because I want to buy it at a cheaper price.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, and I don't blame you for that. Good on you. But when your ideal buyer is within earshot, you have no control over what they're hearing from tie kickers and sticky beaks. And that's another reason why, open homes, the traditional way they're held, are not the best way to go. I'm not totally against them, but I think there's a better way of holding them without the circus and the fanfare and the flyers. Yeah,
good. Okay. And I guess that sort of leads me into, we're going through the sort of campaign cycle of, the 4 weeks and all that sort of stuff that real estates say, on the lead up to, usually an auction here in Melbourne sort of thing. And some areas in Australia just do, just the price on the market. A lot of real estate agents will say that they're really great negotiators, and so what's your thoughts around that? They're really get you the best price other than, the commission based. I want to talk about what's a better pay structure there, but tell me a bit about what you think about their negotiation skills and how that fits in to the whole market.
Well, look, firstly, they're not taught to negotiate when they get their ticket. Okay, they are just people. It's one of the easiest industries to join. Very hard industry to stick with, but easiest to join. So there's no training on negotiation other than what's provided by the franchise, the system that they're part of. But it doesn't matter how good a negotiator they are. Don't forget that they have a disincentive to negotiate well, because their incentive is to sell quickly and not to achieve the highest sale price. An extra $1,000, which will be split with the franchise, is not much of an incentive to negotiate for them. And when you lack that incentive, the outcome is going to be compromised. Yeah,
so it's more of, if you are going to go down that path, you really want to make sure that they're that ethical type of investing, set by an agent to help you do that. And I guess, that sort of leads me into where you've come into this. So tell me a little bit about your backstory. And I know you're in the finance industry. How did you end up here? And what sort of epiphany did you have to go, oh my God, I know you like helping people sell property, and I like that selling advocacy sort of stuff and the marketing strategy stuff. What was the light bulb moment that you had to go, I'm going to break the mold? Because I love disruption, as my clients know. Tell me in that space what happened.
I'll get into that, but firstly, I just picked up on what you said before, helping people sell properties. I like to think of it as helping people make their homes viable.
Buyable. I like
because you can't sell a property. We can dissect that later, but your home can only become viable. And the way I came across this is my last corporate role was as a senior credit risk analyst for a big finance company, financing fleets of trucks and earth moving equipment. But that was never my passion, and property was my passion. My wife and I became more actively involved in it. We started renovating and then flipping, all that kind of stuff. And our very first project was a complete disaster, like most people's first projects are. And we did a lot of research, 6 months worth of research. So we bought well, but we ended up overcapitalizing, and we just spent too much on the first one. And we actually, if we were to sell in the traditional way, we would have made a loss. And so out of sheer desperation, we were forced to consider all kinds of alternatives, and selling privately was one of them. By the way, I don't recommend that to anyone.
No.
And so that's what we did. We jumped head in. The only reason we decided to do it was because through that 6 months worth of research, initially, we met just about all the local agents. We got to know the industry quite well. And anyway, we took a gamble, and we made a lot of mistakes along the way. But we ended up getting out of it without a loss. And so we avoided that 15, 20 grand loss by doing it this way. We could have ended up with more, but let's not get into that. We got it out better than we thought we would have. And then when family and friends started asking us, what did you do? How did you do it? Can you guide us through the process? When we started doing that, we refined what we did. We got much better at it. And then after the fourth property, I think it was, we realized that, hang on, we weren't selling any of these properties. We were marketing them, but they were being bought. People just put their hand up saying, I want it. And we didn't have to talk anyone into it, didn't have to convince anyone to buy it. And so that's how this epiphany started for me. And we thought, well, if family and friends are benefiting from this and they're pocketing 30, 40, 50 grand more than they would have otherwise, surely there's got to be more people interested in that kind of outcome.
I like it because when you were talking about it, like we buy a lot of investment properties, and pretty much all of them are unseen. They're usually a piece of dirt that they're buying. And I'll fly up to Queensland or Adelaide, and I've got film of, hey, here is your dirt, But what they've bought is the feasibility study that shows that there's putting money in their pocket every month after all expenses. And this is what it looks like. And there's a plan and all that sort of stuff. And like you said, they buy. I'm not selling it. The numbers speak for itself. What they're looking for is, and all you do, I don't have to go, oh, look, it's got double air conditioning. It's got this, and it's got a family room, or oh my God, and so, and I know even for myself buying the family homes that we have in the past, and we've done renos and flips and stuff like that to increase our wealth over time. The real estate agent, you don't really listen to. You look at what it is and what it could become if I got it as a project, And
look, if you need to sell anything, your marketing sucks. Simple as that. Simple as that. Because it's really your marketing that should be making people put their hand up saying, I want to buy. What's the next step? What do I do? And if you can't achieve that, then you haven't done a good enough job, and you don't need to sell. You don't need to have a silver tongue, to sell property. It's
an amazing thing. I think, let's dive into the marketing, because I love marketing. I love, finding the right people to buy the right products, and it's fit for them. It's not, you're not building something and then trying to convince someone this is what you need. They've got an idea in their mind of what they want. You present, you've got to build a bridge from them knowing what they want to them seeing your product that fits that, and it happens. So with your marketing strategy, can you delve a little bit deeper into that and, maybe give some top tips for people out there that'd be interested in selling like you?
Yeah, look, it's obviously different when you're dealing a new product, because when you're a developer, for instance, you can gauge the pulse of the market before you develop the product. So you're giving the market already what it's looking for. But when you're dealing in an existing product that could be decades old, you face a different challenge, because tastes have evolved and changed over that time. So first, you need to identify who your ideal buyer or buyers could be for this property, and then make the relevant changes to that property to make it more viable. So look, for me, it's a 5-step process. All 5 steps start with a P: preparation, presentation, pricing, promotion, and parlaying. And parlaying is the communication piece that happens with prospective buyers from the very first to the very last word. So it includes negotiation. But with preparation, you need to, it basically addresses all the flaws and faults in the property, especially when you're looking at an older one, because when people come to a property and they start identifying all these faults, like you were pointing out before, the next question they will have in their mind is, what else is wrong with this home?
Yeah.
And when they're asking that question, it's very difficult to become emotionally engaged with the property. Which is the next step, which is preparation. So presentation. Presentation it addresses the emotional attachment that people should have to the property. To get people emotionally attached, you need to get to them through their senses of sight, sound, smell, and touch.
Yeah, good.
So when you're presenting any property, you need to bombard their senses from all directions, so that at the end, people shouldn't be able to identify why they want the property. They just know that they want to continue owning the feeling of being inside it.
Got it. Interesting. I like that.
And there are various ways to achieve that, but that's the focus of presentation. That was the second step.
And just on the presentation side of things, I know we talked about this the other week, because you were sort of saying the owner should do the inspections. Now, I always thought that it's a good thing to separate the buyer from the seller, because there could be conflict and all this sort of stuff. But tell me about that strategy, because I felt that was really interesting. That I'm guessing private appointment is a better way to go. Open the door. Hi, this is my home.
Yeah, look, I agree that there should be separation, a degree of separation when it comes to negotiation, because
That's the last P.
Yeah, that's among the last P's. So there is separation there, and there should be, and there is with this method as well. But I'm a very, very strong believer, and I've seen far too much evidence for this, that the owner of the home should open the door all the time, no exceptions. Now, this happens in England. This is how homes are sold. Doesn't matter what agent you use. This is what they do in England. Australians seem to be the only people who get hung up about this.
Hang on, so you're saying the English still get a real estate agent, but on Saturday, the real estate agents get the owners to open the house?
Correct.
Wow. Okay, cool. So, I'm open. Tell me more.
So this is the done thing in the UK. Now, the reasons why I believe that should be the case is, well, firstly, when you've got an agent representing you, right? The agent's opening the door. You become a faceless entity to the buyers, okay, as a seller. They don't see you, they don't know you, and therefore they don't care about you. And why should they? They just want the most for their money. But what that does is it makes the transaction far more adversarial and win-lose in nature. Okay.
Yeah, I want to get the cheapest for this thing.
Exactly. People won't hesitate to give you cheeky lowball offers, try and take advantage of you, be more demanding, be less conciliatory, and that does not create fertile ground for fruitful negotiations. What does that is when there is connection and rapport between two blood and flesh human beings, a buyer and a seller, when they can see that you're a perceived equal to them, that makes it far more difficult for a buyer to try and take advantage, usually, to be more demanding, to be less conciliatory. the whole nature of the transaction becomes more collaborative and win-win. And that is what lays fertile ground for fruitful negotiations at the end. So that's one reason. The other reason, sort of built on this, and I get this feedback from all the people I've helped so far, when they open the door to their prospective buyers, initially people are surprised because they expect to see an agent.
A nice suit, all dressed up, ready to go. With their clipboard.
But it's a pleasant surprise, okay? And people actually breathe a sigh of relief for not having to deal with an agent. And as a result of that, they let their guard down. They drop their guard. I can see that. And they open up to you as another blood and flesh human being.
Yep.
And they disclose things to you about themselves that they would never disclose to any real estate agent. And that information can be really useful to put together a win-win outcome. And that is where the gold is.
I love the win-win, because that's where that's the main goal for buying investment properties. We all win.
Yeah.
I get a fee, builder gets to build the property, we've got beautiful tenants moving in, we've got investors that grow their wealth, everyone's winning. So
exactly.
And that's why we didn't have a sales arm, because it's that win-loss. It's a competitive fight. You know, I want the most amount, they want the least amount. Let's just battle it out and see where we come to. You know, and
I've got it.
They do those tactics where they've got two buyers and they face them off each other, and it's, oh man, that does my head in. And I guess that gets me on to auctions. Now I've you know, as a buyer's agent, I've bought at a lot of auctions. I've dressed up in the 3-piece suit. I don't even look it now these days, but nice hair, big glasses. I stand against the fence and, put the last couple of big highest bids in and win. A high pressure. I've been on the other side of the fence where, it's going up and then it slows down, and they come in and they have a go at me like, come on, just drop your reserve down a bit, we'll get it closed. And, it's a real stressful environment, but it seems like, especially in Victoria, they love the game. They love that rah, 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 put that bid in and stuff like that. But I know you're talking about, that's probably not the best way to get the best amount of money for your property. Can you delve into a little bit more around that, and what is
oh
it
my
better?
God. There are so many reasons. I mean, this is a separate conversation.
Have I opened a can of worms?
Oh, you have. You really have.
Excellent. Maybe just give me your top 2 or 3 reasons why you wouldn't go that way.
Okay, the top one. How would a game of poker look like if everyone saw everyone else's hand?
Yeah, terrible.
Absolutely. It's what happens at an auction. You're seeing everyone else's hand. And to win, you just need to be a small increment above theirs. So let me give you, and there are many other reasons not to have an auction, but the main one is, let's say 3 people fall in love with a home, right? They're head over heels.
Yeah.
But everybody has a budget. Nobody goes to an auction with a bottomless pit of money, even if it's from friends, family, whatever. Let's say it's a $1 million home, for using a round number. First family has a cap of, budget of $950. Second family has a budget of $1 million, and third one has a budget of $1,050,000. Auction starts, that's at 900, reaches 950, first couple's out. Reaches $1 million, second couple reaches their budget, they can't go any more than that. So what?
And it just sits there. Come on. Yeah. $1,000 more. Come on, you can do it.
What does the third couple have to pay to own the property?
$1 more.
Yeah, or let's say $5,000 more. Whereas they were willing and able to pay another $45,000 more. So the seller loses out on $45,000. Now that's just a theoretical example.
No. Look, I as a buyer's agent, I do this a lot. So I bought a big house in Richmond not too long ago, and the reserve, it's the biggest one I've ever bought. And I was in there with the client, and he said, "Oh, my budget is $3.8 million," and I was like, I think the one before that was 2.6 was the highest I've ever bought. And I'm like, I need to write that down, because that's a really big number. And I wrote it down, I put it in my top pocket, because I'm thinking, in the heat of the battle, I don't want to go over that. And I got it for 3.48. Made him, like $400,000
Yeah, yeah. And look, when people rave on about auctions, they focus on the reserve price. Okay, how much above reserve it got? Oh my God, it got hundreds of thousands above reserve. People forget that the reserve is the number that no vendor should even be thinking about. It's the pits number. It's the absolute terrible worst case scenario you could possibly imagine. Now, why compare the outcome to that? Something that should not even be talked about, spoken about.
Because the price the property's worth at that current moment is what the person who can buy it for the most is willing to pay for it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
not what the vendor is happy with, and anything over that's cream. That's not right.
That's not right. It's not cream. You should have gotten that in the first place. You should have always gotten that.
Yeah.
And when everyone knows what your bid is, it's just common sense. You'd think, if you know what the other person's bidding. Plus, at auction, not everyone turns up at auction. Not everyone's auction ready. There could be buyers out there who would have been really interested, put in a bloody good offer, more than anyone at the auction, with some conditions.
Yep, I've done that before. I've seen a place that's going to go to auction a week later. I'm like, I can't get a building inspection done. I can't, I don't want to risk doing that. It's an older property. I'd want to do an extension on it or reno, and I'm out. But it was in my budget.
Yeah, yeah. You limit your buyers with an auction.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. So, David, I'm loving this conversation. It's really, really enjoying it. So you did a couple of flips and renos. You learned that this was a better model of doing it. Where was the fork in the road where you went, okay, I'm going to turn this into a business?
It was a quasi midlife crisis back in 2012, I think it was, where I was really jack of my career, and it just wasn't where my passion was, and that's when I decided to make this full time after we had a really good profitable flip on a development site. I thought, okay, that's it. This is the trigger for me. It's time to change.
Excellent. Yeah, and so and I'm guessing, being a marketing strategist, you're getting the right clients that are open to this sort of strategy to open their property for people to buy it. The right terminology I'm getting. How is the market? How are you going with getting the right people? Because it is a mind flip, and that's why I wanted you on here I want people to know more about the way you're doing this, because I think it's a really great way of doing it.
Are you asking about my opinion of the general state of the market, or
like what sort of type of people are attracted to you at the moment? What's your sort of market that really gets, what do you enjoy? Who do you enjoy working with?
Yes, great question. So this is, I'll be the first person to say that this is not for everybody.
I get that.
If you value once we decide to sell a home, there's only really 5 things we could hope to achieve from the sale. One is convenience. Second is speed of sale. Third is highest possible sale price. Number 4 is lowest possible cost of sale. And number 5 is maximizing how much you pocket and walk away with after the transaction, which is really a combination of the previous 2: highest sale price, lowest sale cost. This method is not for those people who want convenience. Okay, but as a caveat to that, you've got to be very careful when it comes to convenience, because when it comes to selling your home, convenience can be really, really expensive. And the more convenient the process feels, the worse you'll do financially. Yeah, that's a fact. So if you want to avoid if you want convenience, it's going to cost you dearly. It'll be the most expensive convenience you'll ever pay for in your life. Full stop.
Yeah, because you've got high commissions from real estate agents, high advertising fees, and also they won't get the top price because they're 40, 50 grand difference doesn't cost them much in commission.
And if you don't want to go to the trouble of making your home look like a display home, because that's a pain in the bum, to create and maintain the look and feel of a display home while you're living in it. That's not convenient.
But it's worth it. I mean, we've done it a number of times, and once you've done it a few times, you get to know how to do it. And also it's quite interesting when my wife and I, when we first did our first reno, she wasn't experienced in it. And I said to her, I can turn this 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom into a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And we can either take 6 months to do it and we'll do 1 bathroom, we'll turn the laundry into another bathroom, or I can do it all in 10 weeks. What do you prefer? And she goes, I'll prefer it quicker so we can live into something nice. And so the week after, it was turned into a bombshell. It was just like, and she was like, I'm going to go and live at my mum's. And I'm like, see ya. So there was nights without toilets, and there was a bucket there that I had to use and all that sort of, we've all done it and all that sort of stuff. And she's really glad she didn't have to do that. Yes. And there was probably a couple of nights I did go and stay at the mother-in-law's as well, which was good. Have a home meal. Thank you, Lorraine. But she did come back when it was staged.
Yes.
And she walked in and she was like, oh my, like, I want my house to be like this.
Didn't want to sell it, right?
Didn't want to sell it. But the value, the property price we got was ridiculous, which was great. But it also taught her and me what the style is for that suburb and what it to look like. And, you remove all your family photos and all that sort of stuff and make it look presentable that they could just literally move in. And so from then on, every house we've moved to, she's been decorating it before renos and state and all that sort of stuff. So it's a great experience.
Yeah.
If you can look at it from that perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely right.
So David, in the current market and all that sort of stuff, I guess, what's keeping you up at night?
It's probably not the market so much. With a tricky business like mine, it's about how do I get out in front of my ideal clients. How do I raise awareness? Because that's really what I'm passionate about. Because most people, when it comes to selling property, they think, well, which agent? And that's literally 99% of people. That's the only question they ask themselves. Yep. Some people ask, well, agent or private sale? But there's more than just those two options. And that's what I want to raise awareness of, even if this is not the option for them, which is okay. And sometimes I turn people down because I don't believe it's the right options for them. Actually, it happens more often than not. But as long as people are aware of the alternatives that are available to them, my job's been done. And how I do that, do I get on TV? I've tried that. Do I write a book? I've tried that. Do I advertise on Facebook? I've tried that.
Yeah. So, that leads me into my other question as well. In this business that you've got and you've tried those sorts of things, what is the worst moment you've experienced here?
The worst moment, looking back at it, the worst moment is probably deciding to launch the business.
I love that.
Although it didn't seem like the worst moment at the time. Look, every time you do something, when you follow your passion, you're going to have to overcome some hurdles. And it's not good enough being good at what you do. You've got to become good at telling people and letting people know. And that's where I needed to do a lot of development on myself. And it's an ongoing process. I don't think it'll ever end. So that's keeping me up at night many times. How do I spread the message?
Yeah, hopefully this can help as well. So yeah, from that, you've been running it for a while. That's a key message of starting your own business, following your passion, which is what I did as well, and I love it. And there's ups and downs and stuff like that. What are some of the key lessons you've learned over this time frame to get where you are now?
It's really interesting. I think it's to really hone in on and very clearly identify who it is you can help the most, who it is that that will benefit most from what you've got to offer, because when you start out in any business, you think you can help. You want to change the world. You
Your
can help
target
everyone.
market is everyone. I can help everyone.
Exactly. And of course it's not. For whatever reason, it's not going to be a good fit either from your perspective or from their perspective. So I think that was my biggest lesson, and that's still a lesson being learned. So that's ongoing.
Yeah, good. I like that. Just to summarize, wrap up now. What's the number one takeaway that you'd want my listeners to take away from our conversation today?
It's just a shift in perspective, I guess. That, and I think most people instinctively know this. When you ask someone why you bought your home, did you buy it because of the real estate agent? Literally 99.9% of people will say no. So if you didn't, why would anyone else? And I think if you just plant that seed in your mind and look for the answers, I think you'll find them.
And David, I think you planted that seed in my brain when we had a good conversation. That's why I wanted you on here. So David, I really wanted to thank you for today. Hopefully it's opened a lot of people's minds. Everyone on Facebook, if you've got any comments or anything, comment below. How's the best way to people contact you, and how do they get started with you?
Look, they can go for a sticky beak and a tie kick on the website, which is www.revolutionaryrealestate.com.au. So basically you can do as much or as little reading on that site as you wish. Great,
excellent. So that's David Kaity. You've also got the books on the website, so you can download,
it is, yes,
all that sort of stuff, and read Real Estates Don't Sell Homes. I love that. It's a great bold statement. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Really great to have you on here. If anyone's got any comments or questions for David, please post below or send them to me. I can forward them on to David. Or go to his website, revolutionaryrealestate.com.au. And I look forward to talking to you all next week on the podcast. Thanks, David.
Thanks so much, Dax.
You're welcome.